Stand by, we're checking. 7037, if you receive any trawler calls in the vicinity of 4th Ave and Olympic City, please notify. Rampart 80, possible between them and suspects Alexandria and Beverly. Beverly and Alexandria, either driven on the tape when advised, being followed by a blue Mitsubishi and on license plate.
2 cops, copy, log on. Curvy. Did you type it like that on purpose?
I don't even know how to spell Summerlin. Summerlin.
All right. Fuzz, are you ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready. You know what movie that's from? Smokey and the Bandit. When he's like, when the bandit's like, "Are you ready?" And then Frogger is like, "I was born ready."
And do you know the song from that? The convoy song?
Eastbound and Down?
No, the convoy one. We
Jerry.
got a little maybe Convoy's from the movie Convoy. I think I'm thinking of a different movie.
Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit was like, "Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. We gonna do what they say can't be done."
Yeah. Convoy's from the movie Convoy. Sorry.
I'm ready.
Roxas, you ready?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Go ahead.
All right, guys. This is part 2 of episode 5, so we're going to do episode 6 here. It's called episode 6, part 2. It's all about the Academy. Part 1 was a little bit long, so we broke it up into 2 separate episodes. To kind of fill you in, we've already went over day 0, day 1. We've talked about first inspection, the first couple of months, homework, things like that. If you want to hear those and you haven't already heard those, go back, listen to part 1, which is episode 5. We're going to get right into this today with Flying Fuzz and his news story. What do you got for us?
All right, this one is out of New Hampshire, sticking to the West Coast here. New U.S. Marshals. I'm sorry, I screwed that up. This one's out of New Hampshire today, sticking to the East Coast. The U.S. Marshals.
Bro.
What? Oh my
I was so confused. I was like, I'm not good at geography, but I'm pretty sure we're on the West Coast.
Anyway, this one's out of New Hampshire. U.S. Marshals found a fugitive asleep on a porch. A fugitive sought by the U.S. Marshal Service was found sleeping on a porch in New Hampshire. John Cathcart was sought on multiple arrest warrants issued from Belknap County. Deputy U.S. Marshal Jeffrey White said in a news release the warrants included failing to appear on a charge of being a felon in possession of a firearm and failing to appear on 3 outstanding narcotics charges. Cathcart was in a segment Wednesday featuring local media and distributed to law enforcement officers statewide. Authorities said interviews led to them. Oh my God, I can't talk, dude. Authorities said interviews led them to a porch in Lachonia where they found Cathcart. He was arrested without incident. So yeah, that's it. That's the news week.
So just to clarify, he was
on the West Coast.
Wanted. East Coast. He was wanted for the felon possession of a firearm. He didn't have a firearm on him when he was arrested.
Yep, correct.
Warrants.
He was sleeping on a porch.
Was he drunk or is he just homeless?
I don't know. It doesn't say if it's his house or what. I'd assume it's his house because
he just needed a nap at that exact moment.
Yeah, well, and people led the authorities to this house. So I assume it was his house or family house or something.
Okay. Thank you, U.S. Marshal Service, for sharing all of your information with us.
It was a very, very short story.
I can tell. We have a little bit of a story time here. We don't want to go too much into it because we want to finish part 2 for the Academy. But I do have an update that I promised from the picture we posted on Instagram and the car accident we talked about in episode 4 about going through the military base fence. So we figured out a little bit more information. So the way car accidents work, when they leave the vehicle there, we place a legal hold for evidence on the vehicle. And in order for them to get their vehicle back, the registered owner has to come and talk to us, talk to detectives and explain, who had the car, what happened, if it was them that had the car, things like that. So I talked with One Explorer One, who, if we remind you, his cousin is the one that wrecked the car into the military base, and he said he finally went and talked to detectives. So the results of the accident, and this is why you don't want to just leave your car. Not only do you have to go and talk to detectives and pay to get your car out of towing and all of this expensive stuff, instead of getting a ticket for like speeding or like no tail light or whatever have you, he got 4 different tickets, which I know 2 of those definitely had to be with leaving the scene of the accident. Definitely had to do with leaving the scene of the accident. I'm not sure what the other 2 are, but his car is also totaled, and now because he left the scene, it's probably really likely that his insurance probably isn't even going to talk to him or cover any of it, because they can't determine whether or not he was impaired and things like that. So that's my little update that I promised you guys.
What were the tickets for?
I already said there was at least one of them or 2 of them for the hit and run for failure to stay at the scene with the car accident. I'm sure the other ones that they could, I mean, I don't know, probably failed to maintain lane and then probably not stopping at the stop sign. If I had to guess, because of the evidence at the scene, you can tell he obviously wasn't stopped at the stop sign there, and then he ran off the road, which means he failed to maintain his lane. So those might be all 4 of them. I'm not sure.
We'll have your expertise of road stuff.
I'm not sure if it's expertise. It's just like the really basic ones. Like somebody asked me what this citation was for, like if somebody was in the bus lane and then they got in the bus lane before it turned into like a turning lane. And I was like, well, you could cite them for failing to maintain lane because it's not a lane. So
disobey traffic control device.
Is the bus lane count as a traffic control device?
The lines?
It's traffic control.
I mean,
The solid white line that you're not allowed to cross unless there's an emergency per the NRS.
But is that that is considered a traffic control device through NRS?
Yeah, it's traffic control. It's supposed to control traffic.
Say yes. I don't know.
Makes sense to me.
It's been a while. I don't know.
I don't think it applies just to lights and signage. I think it's like to everything.
I don't know. We should look into that. We'll look into that tonight. Flying Fuzz has a ride along again tonight, and we've done like 4 now.
Yeah, I think this will be 5, maybe.
This
5
will be
or
6. 5th. We've talked a little bit about like the speeders that we've got. Did we talk about the DUI guy we got? We talked about a few accidents.
Did we talk about the accident where the guy flipped his thing on the side, and then his girl had the gun and she was a felon and all that stuff?
Oh, we didn't talk about that one. No,
we didn't talk about that.
You want to tell that one really quick? The little Polaris slingshot.
Yeah. So we went. So I think it was a graveyard cop. Had horrible radio traffic. We were en route to an accident. He had horrible radio traffic. No one could tell what was going on. So we roll up. We back him real quick. While that's going on, Pulsey's teacher, I guess you could say, or was teacher.
He was my motor trainer for the rewards. Yeah. Yes.
So he went to the wreck that we were going to. We finished up. We helped the graveyard guy that was just, I don't know what was up with him. We leave. We help your trainer guy. Well, we don't really help him. We just say what's up because he pretty much had everything under control. And then right as that's going on, another wreck comes out at Fremont and the Boulevard. And it was something. I'm trying to remember what the details said. I think the details did say the slingshot was on that side, but I don't remember.
Yes, 100%. Because we were like, "Oh, this is going to be good."
Yeah. So then
I think it said like rollover though.
Yes,
it said rollover.
Yeah. So we haul ass over there, and we get there, and it's chaos because it's a very busy intersection. So there's firefighters everywhere. There's a lot of cops there. There's pedestrians everywhere. So it's kind of chaos at first. Eventually, they start pushing everyone back. They get tape up. I talked to a couple witnesses, and they're like, "Yeah, he came, he did the turn, and then he started revving his engine, and then he swerved and drove up on the sidewalk, hit a utility box, and then flipped on its side." So it's like, okay. So we talk to him. We do FSTs on him. He's DUI. He's under arrest for that. And then I guess I don't know who was talking to the girlfriend because I never even saw the girlfriend, but I guess she had a gun in her purse and she was a felon and she went to jail for that, and then he went to jail for DUI, and we charged him with like 6 different things.
Yeah, the TCR was full. The paperwork for jail that we used to write all the charges down, we call it a TCR, and it was completely full, has 6 spots. But I will say, the marshals are the ones that were there first, and they had the girlfriend the entire time. And luckily, they did not let her go get the purse. However, when we showed up, they were just chilling with her. Like, she was on the phone, walking around. Like, I had to ask, like, where's the girlfriend at? And they're like, oh, she's over there. And there's like 8 people over there standing with her. And I'm like, okay, which one? Like, there's nobody in custody. There's nothing going on. Like, these people almost wrecked their slingshot into a restaurant.
Right. Came within feet of flipping good.
Ooh.
Yeah, and especially flipping good, guys. Like, come on now. We've got to protect our golden spots on Fremont Street, and that's one of them.
I'd say the feed is one of those spots where there's a lot of people that are just standing around. So it could have been really bad.
Exactly. That's what when we were driving there, I told Fuzz, I was like, oh, we might need to get some more units because this is a busy intersection. We're going to need traffic control.
It helped that you guys knew the area also because it's where we came from.
It was a pretty easy cut and dry accident. Fremont Street Security had it all on footage, and essentially he was trying to be cool and took the corner too fast and then went into oncoming traffic and then overcorrected back into his lane and just went right up on his side.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what the witnesses said.
Exactly, yeah. He was revving his engine. He took the left. He actually cut somebody off, so he would have got, if we'd have watched the video before, he would have got like 4 other tickets as well. But, 6 was enough, I guess. Yeah, charges.
You can email him more, right? Or just mail them to him?
You can mail them to him. Yeah, I did that on one of mine. I did that on a bus driver told me that he had stopped at a stop sign. And, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, right? And it was a 5-car accident.
Oh my God.
Oh.
It was probably the most difficult accident for me just because it came out at like 6:30. It was 5 cars. The bus wasn't touched, but it caused the accident, so it's still at fault.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes in as a non-contact, so there's a bunch of extra information you have to add. And then I ended up getting video footage the next day from the company that was across the street because there was a semi-truck that ran over one of the cars. So the bus driver blew the intersection, causing 2 cars to hit each other and go into oncoming traffic. And then one of them got ran over by a semi. The other one hit another car head on. So everybody was transported to the hospital. I'm the only cop there. Day shift logs on at 6:30. They didn't show up till 9. It was ridiculous. And then he showed up. The day shift cop showed up. And most motorcycle cops take their motorcycle home. I live outside of Vegas, outside of the mileage rate. So I don't get to take mine home. This guy has the nerve to ask me, after he shows up late, and I'm like, don't worry, I'm already done. I just need you to take these copies to the victims at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
He has the nerve to ask me, like, well, is the hospital on your way home? Can you just drop it off? No, I can't.
Holy cow.
I'm already an hour over my shift, and I live an hour away. Like, no, take it. I'm over it. Leave. I'll do everything else myself. Just take these stupid things. Because you can't trust people to do paperwork.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad, but that's kind of why I like motors is because it's me. That's it. That's all I've got. Yeah. And the 1 or 2 people that I ride with or that show up on my Rex to help me, I trust them to do the paperwork because they've been doing it for like 27 years. But on patrol, especially graveyard, you can't trust your partners unless you work with them every day.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of the ride along, since I've obviously ridden with you a while, I do have one question. You're showing me how to do the measurements and stuff like that. How do you do that on a curvy road?
We just go from still the same. You just go straight because it's all taken from, first of all, it's just the area. It doesn't have to be a specific spot. And then it's the reason we do the measurements is so that if, like, let's say 3 months later, this guy dies and the coroner's report shows that it's like from the accident or something like that, which would be really, really odd, but it's just an area to where they can say, okay, this is about the spot where it happened, and then read the report and kind of recreate the accident scene. So we just go straight from it. Now, if I was doing it, it depends on the distance as well, because if I'm doing it off of the app, where I'm doing it off of a different measurement device rather than the wheel that we carry in our side saddles, then it's going to be straight. But if it's, 50 yards or 50 feet, I'm going to use that little wheel, and it's going to be along the road line because I'm not going to jump the curb and then jump off the curb. So it's really just what's convenient, but it's just to get that certain area of impact. That's where it initially occurred. Maybe we will. So last time you did a ride along, you did the whole report. I looked at my emails. Only one report that I submitted last week was rejected. I'll see which one it was. I don't know. And I don't know why I was rejected. It might be something stupid.
Maybe it's one you did.
It might be. I'm not saying it's not. That's what I'm saying. I don't know which one it was.
Flying Fuzz doesn't get rejected reports, so
Exactly.
We'll see. But we'll look at that tonight, and then I'll show you whatever was wrong, whether I messed it up or you messed it up. I'll show you how to fix it. And then we will go over, maybe instead of you doing the rec, you can do the measurements and get all the info relating to the accident that's needed.
Okay.
All right, getting him back into this academy stuff. Like I said, we talked about a lot in episode 5. We're going to go right in, and we're going to jump in to the first point of this episode, and we're going to talk about the academic side of things. There's 2 versions of it. There's the testing, which is the written testing, and then there is the actual scenario testing. What do you guys like better or feel about both of them?
So the academic testing just tests your knowledge, and then the UTRE kind of they both test your knowledge, but the UTRE...
So the UTRE is the scenario, but what does that stand for? That's why I didn't say UTRE, because I don't know what it stands for.
Unit something evaluation. I don't remember. Unit test something evaluation. I don't know.
If I pulled up that email, I could find it again, but I don't care enough right now.
Well, for the listeners at home, UTRE is basically the scenario test. So you have your academic test, your paper test, your is it ABCD, and then you have the UTRE, which is your scenario test.
Yeah.
At least that's what we call it, is UTRE.
Yes.
And so the written test just tests your knowledge, and then the scenario test tests whether or not you can apply that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Yeah. And it's like I wasn't bad at the academic stuff, but I could put it to practicality in the UTRE much better than I could writing it on paper.
Yeah. The thing with the UTRE is like everything you're tested on in the academy is whether or not you can do it as a solo officer, which is kind of unrealistic, but we're not going to get into that. So you got to go, like when you do your domestic violence scenario, in real life, you're never going to go on a call like that by yourself. And if you do and something bad happens, you're going to get in trouble. But in the academy, you're supposed to do it by yourself and blah, blah, blah. But yeah.
I was okay at the academic if it was ABCD. If I had to write something out or like recite something or memorize something, I wouldn't be here. Like, I'm going to be honest. Because it's strict. It's like, oh, you missed a comma. Like, you didn't get that question right. You don't get half points. You didn't get that question right. I'm like, well, what if I didn't have to take a breath? Aren't commas for breaths? I don't get it. Is commas even real? I don't like commas. Mainly because I'm not smart enough to know how to use them. But I'm kind of the same way. The practical side of it, the application, I was a lot more comfortable with. I was only nervous until I realized what I was doing. So, like, the testing is in different units. So, if you are practicing a domestic violence scenario all week, your test is going to be a domestic violence test. Surprise.
Right.
But where it gets into, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit later, but you have 2 like major tests where you don't get to know what scenario you're going to until you're dispatched to that scenario. And I was nervous up until I got the dispatch.
Yeah, I think I was nervous on all of my UTREs and my PACT tests because, you're just nervous. You don't want to screw it up. And then you get done, and then I look over at the grader, and they're like, okay, perfect. You did exactly what you're supposed to do. And it's like, oh, thank God.
Yes.
I'm not fired today. Wait till next week.
Yeah. There was only one scenario that I was like, oh, no, I know I messed up. And that was it. Everything else is like you just check the boxes and do what you're supposed to.
Yes, and that's the thing with the academy. It's you check the boxes, and that's how it is out in the field as well. Like if you know the helicopter or the air unit or the airship or whatever terminology you want to use is not up and running, you still ask for the airship for the helicopter. Because you have to check that box just to say that you checked it. Make sure you got all your resources and priorities straight. Something else you're tested on in the academy, which I guess I'll ask the question first. Somebody submitted the question, how many times do you have to be tased or pepper sprayed? You're actually tested on the OC spray. So you get sprayed, and then you have to do an obstacle course, and you have a certain amount of time that you have to complete it in. And it consists of everything from reading license plates to fighting to jumping walls and running through tires, army crawling, things like that.
The worst day of the academy.
It is pretty much the worst thing in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
I think the purpose of it is because other people have pepper spray too, or if you spray somebody, you're going to get affected by it. So you have to know how to work through it and function when it happens, if it happens.
Yeah, because if it gets used, you're going to get hit with it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Which is why nobody uses it.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard like one or two stories of where somebody has used OC spray, and one of them, the guy was a corrections officer, and the other one, they used it on a pigeon. So, actually, there's one where they used it on a dog too.
On a pigeon?
You know, it wasn't, I don't know what they were doing, but the story goes, basically, they were trying to get the pigeons out of a certain spot, so they sprayed the OC spray, and then the pigeons came back and started eating it off the ground.
That's great.
So it didn't work.
That's a story I'm interested in.
I'll have to remember who told me it and ask more details. Have him on as a guest just to tell the story. We don't get tased, believe it or not, either. Why is that? Is that just because it costs a lot of money and there's a lot of us, or what's the...
I don't know why.
I was explained that one person got tased with the taser and they contracted a flesh-eating disease, which is like a 1 in a 10 million thing. And they just decided that it wasn't worth it.
The only time...
But you can use alligator clips.
Yeah, like just pin it to your clothing. As long as it's touching the skin, it's going to work.
Well, I think the full effect, you have to have the actual probes, don't you?
No, they want you to get the full effect of it going like into your skin, and then they have to yank the probes out. Like they want to give you the full effect, but you're going to get the full electric ride from it with it just touching your skin in the proper places.
Because you only have to be tased for our department if you want to be an instructor for, like, qualified instructor through the taser company, right?
Yeah, a master instructor,
Master instructor. Wow.
But every department's different in that regard. Some departments still tase their cops. We don't.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there is a lot out there.
I've been tased.
I would rather be tased than be pepper sprayed. You've been tased?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's a separate story for this.
There is a separate story.
I feel like he's bullshitting. I feel like he's like, oh yeah, I was doing my smart display.
Yeah, I
know.
No.
It's a story I can't talk about, but
okay. Oh, leave us all hanging. All right.
It's not illegal.
Leave us all hanging. Why even bring it up?
It's not illegal. It's just it can't be talked about because it was other police departments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
I think I know what happened, but moving on.
I would rather be tased than pepper sprayed. Like, I would volunteer to be tased right now if I never had to be pepper sprayed again. If I never had to carry my pepper spray, I would volunteer to be tased. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on. I didn't have to do this testing. I don't think Roxas had to do mid-pact either.
No.
But Fuzz, tell us what mid-pact is, because they actually brought it back. It's a thing now. I know I have a cousin in, and then my buyer, he also had to do it.
So think of mid-pact as midterms in like high school or college or whatever. It's just basically let's make sure you've learned everything you're supposed to up to this point. So like Final Pact, it's the exact same thing as Final Pact, only it's mid-pact. So it's still, for us, it was 3 days, I remember correctly. 3 days of scenarios. Was it 3 days for Final Pact for you guys too?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say
so
it was 3.
3 days. You have 2 days where you do 3 scenarios and then 1 day where you do 2. If I remember correctly, it's been so long. And you don't know what you're going to get until they dispatch you, and then you go and you handle it. And then they grade you a little bit differently. With the UTRE, they more grade you on making sure you hit all the points you're supposed to hit, investigative-wise and officer safety-wise. On mid-pact, it's kind of like a general, like all the grading is very generalized. So how was your investigation? Was it good or bad? How was officer safety? Was it good or bad? So it's all kind of generalized. And if you fail any point, like if you fail, oh God, I don't even remember. If you fail like 3 points or something like that, then you fail mid-pact or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The grading's really weird.
3 points in one category or like 5 total, right?
That sounds like it might be it.
Yeah, so if you mess up in officer safety, you do something wrong in 3 different scenarios of officer safety, then you fail. Or
Right.
if you mess up officer safety, radio traffic, reports, or something else all together in one scenario, or all together period, you fail completely. So you can actually fail a scenario and not fail pact,
Yeah.
but you can only fail like one scenario.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all mid-pact is. It's just like a midpoint to make sure that you're on track. I don't know why they got rid of it. My class was the last one to do it before they brought it back. I have no clue why they got rid of it and why they brought it back. I have absolutely no clue.
If I had to guess, I would say it took a lot of time and resources.
It does.
And they were doing the 6 academy classes, like an academy class every month. So I think that might have been why. And now that they're slowed down more, they brought it back. I think it's a good thing. I'm not saying I'm happy I didn't have to do it because of the stress, but I think it'd probably make better results from people.
Right. And also to go back to the UTRE, like let's say you fail a UTRE scenario, you get to go back, you get remedial training, and then you get to do the scenario again. And if you pass, you continue on. If you fail mid-pack, that's pretty much it. You're fired. So, or you can get recycled. I think you get recycled on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the option. I don't think right now the classes that are going through, they don't have an option because they're doing, because of Corona and stuff, and then because they have one more class starting, they don't have an option at all. They fail.
Yeah.
The academy isn't all just stress, though. The way it's lined out is there's teaching environments, there's discipline environments, and then there's the fun stuff that everybody loves to do. Like you get to go to the range, you get to go do emergency vehicle operation training. You get to do all of that fun stuff that you hear about or see as well. The range is 2 weeks. Mine was separated. The first week we did the basic handgun stuff where you learn everything from the very, very start to the finish. You take your qualifications for the shooting. You take your day one, you take your night one. And then we had a week break and then we went back. Was your guys' back-to-back or was it separated as well?
Mine was, because we had such a large class, it was split in half. So 1 week, half of us were at range, and then the other half of us were at evoc. And then the next week it would flip. And then there was a third week that was half the class is back at the academy doing, I think we were doing DUIs. And then the other half of the class is back at the range for TAC week. And then it would flip again. And then I thought there was one more night I think it was like TAC night or something. Wasn't there one more day?
There's SWAT night.
SWAT night, that's what it was.
Which ours was at Veterans Tribute High School for our SWAT night.
I thought there was, maybe I'm just thinking of TAC week then. I don't know, but ours was split in half because our class was so big. So, but evoc was the best. I loved evoc. Freaking loved it.
Yeah, my range was back to back. We did the first half was day qual, the next half was night qual, and then we went back to the academy, and then we had a large matrix that had like separate stuff for the range, and that was a whole different thing. So ours was kind of like three different sets.
I probably like the range more than EVOC, which is the emergency vehicle courses, because I like to shoot and then I get car sick. So
Yeah.
EVOC was fun driving. When I was driving, it was fun. And actually, even the research were a lot of fun. But what's more fun than that is motor school. Bro, like, you think rolling code in a cop car chasing somebody on the track is fun? Like, yo, it's even more fun when you do it on a motorcycle and you get the whole track to yourself and you're just going 90, like 95 down the stretch. Like, it's a blast. Takes a little bit to get used to at first, but it's a blast. But I probably definitely like the range more. There's also specialized units that come in and they talk to you and they teach you things. We do, I don't know what MACTAC stands for, mass, I don't know.
Multi-agency counterterrorism, something. God, I should know it. Dude.
Multi-agency counterterrorism, something. Assault something, I don't know. That was a lie. But they teach you more of the, I mean, active shooter type stuff is how I would say it.
Yeah, they do the active shooter type stuff, and they do the civil disobedience to riot class.
Oh, I thought that was SAT.
I'm pretty sure it's MACTAC, but...
Oh, no, they do officer down. MACTAC does the officer down stuff, the active shooter stuff.
Yeah.
That's where you learn all of the,
that's right.
the carry techniques and putting them in vehicles and such. So MACTAC deals with more of the response to high-level crimes, threats, and that's something that we're all trained in. We can get extra training in, and then it is relating to the civil unrest and riots and such, because you get activated through the MACTAC activations. You have a meetup spot, you go and get in your gear, but the actual class was put on by the saturation team, which is
Homeland Security SAT team, HSST. But I will say they do have a lot on their plate. Every time a dignitary comes into town, I mean, they do a lot.
And that side of it would be fun. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
That side would be really fun.
Now, there's probably more people that come to our area than you think.
I just am bitter towards them because every time I see them, they're standing on the sidewalk down on Fremont Street doing nothing.
Well, they're almost like professional fighters, which I'm okay with that. I'll take that job.
They do have to shift adjust a lot.
Yes,
from what I hear.
A lot of call-ins.
But you just said they don't do anything.
No, they don't.
Huh.
They shift adjusted to stand on Fremont.
Don't worry, Roxas. I'm there for your people.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm okay if you go to it. Motors doesn't do a lot either. So, like, I would recommend going to something like that. I'm just saying, I'm a little bit bitter of it because of our experiences, but I'm bitter towards everybody, so what's the matter?
Yeah, it's fine.
As long as we're talking about specialized unit, the canine section will also come in and do a little class on perimeters and searching and all that stuff. Air unit comes in.
Yeah, the air unit. Talk about that.
My class got screwed because they didn't bring the helicopter. Because one of the helicopters was down, so they couldn't. So, the backup had to do patrol stuff, and they couldn't bring us a helicopter to play in. So I was pissed.
I am surprised you didn't quit right there.
I was pissed. I was like, what the crap?
You're like, this isn't even fair.
But yeah. It's like, I'll recycle. I'll go to another class.
I'll recycle. I'll get OC sprayed again.
No. Sorry. If I got recycled and they were like, well, you don't have to do OC again, but if you want to do it for the team, I'd be like, nope, I'm not a team player. Sorry.
Yeah, screw the team. The team drags me down anyways.
Screw the team.
How many people are you still in contact with from the academy? 0. That's fine.
One.
Moving on.
I have one that lives with me. But we all kind of like...
No, you don't. Stop.
Dude, the day of graduation, I deleted that group chat.
Yep.
I was like, I'm done with you people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's probably like 4 that I'm really good friends with. Like one lives with me, one of them works at DTAC, and then the other 2, actually probably 5. Like one of the kids from my academy that I'm really good friends with, like I don't even talk to him anymore, but if I see him, like we're really good friends. So there's probably like 5 though that I'm like close to.
Yeah, I mean, we run into each other all the time and we say, hey, what's up?
But at the same time, we had, I don't know how your guys' class was, but we had definitely like strong cliques. Like these 5 people hung out with each other and they hated everybody else. These 5 people hung out with each other, hated everybody.
Oh my God, the drama.
Oh yeah, it's like high school. It's
Yeah,
like high school.
hardcore.
Isn't that
ridiculous.
just, the department in the first place?
True. Yeah, you're right. So we hit on it a little bit with the mid-pact, so we don't really need to talk about it a ton, but there's a final pact. And essentially these, like we explained in the first one, these tests they're supposed to be practical applications. I think that's what the PA stands for.
Oh, yes, practical application comprehensive testing.
Practical application comprehensive testing. Sweet, that's really big. Basically, it's supposed to be treating you like you're on a day in patrol as a normal patrol officer. That's essentially what you're doing. So you go and get in the car and you drive around, and then they dispatch you somewhere and you go to that area. And you get dispatched to that area doing whatever they're sending you to, whether it's just a music like complaint or somebody throwing rocks at somebody or just random stuff, whatever you've been trained on. Not crazy stuff. It's still a controlled environment, but it is supposed to be treated like you are in the actual field. Then you go into final inspection and graduation. Do you guys wear your dress uniforms like the winter greens?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did for our last one.
Yep.
And your vest and everything as well, or was it just your...
No, the first time that I wore my vest was for graduation itself.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't wear my vest on our final inspection.
So after Final Pact, when they let you wear your uniform, we were wearing our vests. And then Final Inspection, we were wearing our vests. Did they tell you not to wear your vest?
Yeah, they said, no, you're not wearing your vest.
Oh, interesting.
Pretty sure we wore ours. Our vests.
Which you can imagine, it's a bunch of uniforms that are super saggy on people because they're, set up for your vests.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So final inspection was kind of one of those things where the tax staff just kind of just congratulated you on everything.
Yeah, it's more of a formality.
Yeah.
Make sure you're ready for graduation.
That's it. That's all it really was.
Let's go into some questions now that we've covered basically the start of the Academy Day 0 in part 1, and then all the way to graduation in part 2. What were things that make the Academy difficult for you? What are some of the highs and lows, the scarier hard parts, and then like exciting parts of the Academy? I think we touched on them a little bit and kind of talked about them individually as we went along, but what are some key points to mention for you guys?
I think what type of things make the Academy difficult is people that really don't know how to work together and trying to get them into that like team environment. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. People that wouldn't shut up and get us in trouble because they kept talking.
Oh, yeah. Like we said, high school after high school.
Yeah.
Yes, essentially. And that's, the highs and lows are every day. When you're doing push-ups because somebody's irritating the tax staff, it's definitely a low. We had to stay late like 2 hours one day and do bear crawls around the field because somebody took somebody else's hat and didn't tell them that they lost their hat, and just a bunch of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Just because you lost your hat and you found somebody else's hat doesn't mean you get to keep it. That's basically stealing, but
yeah,
we had to get yelled at for that. And the highs are when you pass the test or you come in and all your friends pass the test. Just the good parts about it where you're like on to the next move.
Yeah.
I think the scariest or like hardest thing is 9 out of 10 people that go into the academy, they leave everything else behind. So
jobs, family, life.
Yes. So for me, like I picked up, moved, quit my job. I had nothing left. Like, I had to pass, or I was going to be up the creek without a paddle,
Yes.
Yeah.
and I would have been screwed. So,
Yeah, that's the hard part is if you fail, you're out of job pretty much. I know Gomez told me a story. I don't know if it was him or someone else where back in like '08 or whenever they did the hiring freeze, how they hired a bunch of people for the academy, a bunch of recruits. And then they said, oh, never mind, we're not doing the academy. And all these people were out of a job.
Yeah.
They already spent all their money on the academy and
The equipment that's required for the academy.
yeah.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't have gone over well.
yeah, I spent like AGs, like all of my savings
Mm-hmm.
for everything total. The most exciting part is graduating. Duh.
Yeah, putting it
Yeah.
behind you.
The really awesome part, though, is like day one, you start getting paid, you start getting health benefits. You're getting paid essentially to go to school to do a job that you have always wanted to do most of the time, essentially.
Yeah. But don't think when you graduate you know everything, because day one on
No.
the street will tell you that you don't know everything at all. Or don't
5
know
minutes
anything.
after graduating, you are going to know you don't know anything.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of random questions. Like somebody asked for the best advice going into law enforcement, and then somebody asked if it's scary to be a cop. I think the best advice is just you have to know that you're not above anybody else. Don't get that ego. And just remember it's really not just a job, it is kind of a lifestyle. Everything you do after you graduate and you get your badge and you are sworn in is a direct reflection on not only you and your character, but your family, your last name, the department, everything you do. So don't take that for granted, essentially.
It's so true. You know, if one cop screws up, the ramifications for that are felt across our department or state or in recent events across the nation.
Oh, yeah.
So,
What about I don't know. I think yes, it's going into this profession, you kind of already know it's a little bit scary per se. I don't know if I'd use that word, but it is. You go into it knowing that you're enforcing things that people, one, sometimes don't agree with, or two, just don't care.
Or don't know.
Yes, or don't know. And I think we go into this knowing, I don't know if I'd use the term scary, but we go into it knowing that it's a dangerous job, and we take our training, and that's what gets us through. I don't, like when I do a car stop and I walk up to the car stop, I'm not shaking and scared, but I'm aware that I don't know what's in that car, that I don't know what this person, if this person likes me, if this person doesn't like me, I don't know what they're going to do as soon as I hit my lights. And being aware of that and understanding that and just knowing what you can do to deflect that, because you can't prevent it a lot of the times, but to contradict it is what keeps us going. And then just keeping your head on a swivel. You guys have anything else to add?
You talking about the part to just being scared to be a cop?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, really. It's most people who become a cop have a whole different outlook on life. We're the people that we pay attention to the little things. We are aware that there are dangers out in the world. The mass majority of people don't know how much bad is out in the world because they're blind to it. They go to the store, they park their car, they go inside the store, they walk back out. They didn't see the guy that was shooting up something on the side of the building. They don't see the person that got robbed on the other side of the building. They don't see the guy who's DUI driving down the street while they're going to the store. They don't see that part of it, and they kind of turn a blind eye to it because it's not part of their life. It's not their responsibility until it becomes a part of their life. And it's just us as police. We are the people who we've seen this, or we're aware of it. Our head is on a swivel all the time. We pay attention to things. And it's one of those things, as long as we're walking out with that same outlook on things, we're going to be okay.
Agreed with that. I think you definitely like hit it right on the head when you said we are different. We're just a different type of people.
It is. It's just
Different type
we
of
pay
people.
attention. We pay attention to the things that other people just don't pay attention to. That's all it is. It's not saying that we're better than anybody. That's not it at all.
I think too, you realize how petty a lot of things in life are.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah. It's like I said, that one person that doesn't see crime and someone's car gets keyed and their world crumbles on them because of it. They don't understand the person that we dealt with 30 minutes before them who was raped or robbed at gunpoint. Like, they don't have that perspective for things in life.
All right, Roxas, do you have a public service announcement for us today?
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah, I got one. It's a simple one. It really is. It's if you get stopped by the police, just don't lie to us. And I'm pretty much just going with simple things along the lines of, hey, you know, we pulled a car over and they had an expired registration or something. Okay, cool. We'll come up, we'll have a chat with you. Hey, you know, your registration's expired. And if the first thing that comes out of your mouth was, I'm on my way to the DMV right now, and it's 11 o'clock at night, we know you're lying. Just stuff happens because we're humans too. The same thing. Hey, you know what? I've had a rough week. My paycheck hasn't come through. My paycheck wasn't as large as I thought it was going to be. Heck, I got fired 2 months ago. I'm on my way to a job interview. If you tell us the truth of what's going on, guess what? We do have sympathy. Sometimes people go away.
My favorite, Corona.
Corona is the number one excuse for everything. And it's not even an excuse. It's the people that are taking advantage of it. The amount of people that are out of jobs right now, and we stop them and they're like, hey, you know, I had my registration expired last month. My DL is still good. My insurance is still good. They've still got all this stuff going on. They're perfectly fine. Cool. Have a good day. But then you get those people that their car hasn't been registered since 2018. Like, oh, well, this is the perfect time for me to take out my busted up Corolla and go out and commit crime. You're going to get stopped and you're going to get questioned. Because they don't have insurance. They haven't had a driver's license in 5 years, or it's revoked or suspended or whatever it is. Like, there's a complete difference in that. Like, we will come across normal people who, all right, cool. You know what? Have a good day. Get it taken care of when you can. And then there's other people that just take advantage of the situation. And it's like, you know what? It's not okay.
I agree with that, man. If I stop somebody and like right now, I stop people a lot for speeding. And if they look down and they're like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. I'm like, yo, like, at least just tell me, okay, sorry. Because there's no way you didn't know you were going 60 in a 35, blowing past people. Or you're crying when I walk up. If it's not real tears, if there's not a valid reason, me stopping you is not a valid reason to be crying. If it is not a valid reason, you're going to get a ticket. If you're nice, respectful to me, and you're going 60 in a 35, you're still going to get a ticket, but I'm going to explain to you, hey, look, I didn't give you a ticket for reckless. I didn't give you a ticket for 15 over. I gave you a ticket for 5 over. If you call the courts, they'll work with you. I've had times where I've told people, look, I have to give you a ticket because you're going 15 over, but if you go in and fight it, they'll drop it down to something, I promise you. Or if you do this, you can get out of it. Or if you do this, it'll help you. Like, I have no problem being nice, helping people. If you're going 15 over, you're going to get a ticket. Your warning was the 15 miles per hour that you could have went without getting pulled over. So don't lie to me and make it worse, because I will give you the full 15 over if you're doing something like that and it's not sincere.
Truth.
Fuzz, you have anything? You just write everybody tickets, huh?
Yeah, I read everyone's tickets. No, I have sympathy. And when we were on bikes, the taxis, you know, obviously think they own the world, and I would walk up and they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, officer. And I'd be like, darn, now I don't want to write you a ticket. And then Roxas would be like, screw him, he's getting a ticket. Yeah. I'd be like, okay.
That's because when you go back to the car and you look at their license and they've been stopped for the same thing 4 times, you lose all sympathy for them.
Yeah, that too.
Well, I don't get sympathy when somebody's like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't even see you there. I get sympathy when they're like, oh man, I had no idea you were there, bro. You got me. Like, I don't even know what to say. Yeah. I'm like, respect, bro. Like, at least you
It almost makes you feel good. You're like, yeah, I snuck up on you.
Well, it's easy on the motorcycle, man. All right. We're going to close this out, guys. This was a really long topic, a really long episode. and we're probably going to hit on it again in the future with somebody either that just got right out of the academy or somebody that's been through it more recent than we have, to kind of give you their thoughts and their feelings. We'll let you know when that's going to come. I've got a cousin in right now who has agreed to talk to us, but we want to wait until he gets out of the academy for issues. We don't want him getting in trouble for coming and talking about the academy while he's in the academy, because he'll get burned down for that. So until next week, stay safe, guys. Thanks.